Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm just going to be doing a little bit of a reading vlog, just a couple days reading. I'm trying to finish my summer TBR or read books that are on my summer TBR. I have a whole video detailing all the books that are on there, and I feel like so far in June, most of the books that I've read have been on there, so I'm making pretty good progress through the list. I'm currently in the middle of 2 books that are on that list. So my goal is to finish one of them and to continue through the other. The one I'm buddy reading with my mom, so it's not going to be one that I'm going to be finishing probably that soon. Maybe within the next month I'll finish it, but my goal is to finish the other book and then start another book which just came off hold at the library, so I want to get to that as well. So let me kind of give you a little update as to where I'm at. I am 96 pages into Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is a reread for me. I read this book when it came out in 2023 and I absolutely loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. And I recently read Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood and I loved that book so much that I wanted to reread the 2 other books that I know I love by Ali Hazelwood to see my kind of ranking and which one is my favorite. So I read that one. I reread Love Theoretically, and this is my last one to reread by her. So I'm hoping to finish this today, honestly. This is her YA book. If you can't tell, it's about chess, but it follows our main female character, Mallory, and our main male character, Nolan. Nolan is a grandmaster, and he is #1 chess player in the world, and Mallory is 18. She just graduated, and she basically has to financially support her mom and her 2 sisters, and so she's working a lot to sustain that. And she was a really great chess player up until she turned 14, and she hasn't played chess since, so it's been a while. And she agrees to help her friend out at this charity tournament, and there she ends up playing Nolan, and she actually ends up beating him. And he is a player that hasn't really been beat at all recently, and so you kind of see her get back into chess. And when I read this, I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. This is definitely not a book for everyone. It's YA, but I feel like a lot of the themes and the topics aren't really totally YA, because you do see a lot of that kind of stress and taxation that is on Mallory for her being so young. This book is also very modern. If you don't like modern references, you might not like this book, but personally, it just works for me. I really, really love it in this book, so I am really enjoying it so far, and this book is just I think all of Ali's books are so easy to get through, but this book in particular is so easy to get through. I definitely think I can probably finish it today. It's around 300 pages. I lied. It's like 340, but I still think I could finish it today. Just need to lock in. So this is my goal for today, is to finish this. And then I also need to get a little bit more of the way through Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I am on page 128. My mom is on like 170. So I need to catch up to her sometime this week. So that's another goal. Probably have like this much to read. So I don't really have many thoughts on this so far. I'm liking it. It's interesting. There's a little bit of a mystery that I'm excited to see kind of how it plays out. Those are the 2 physical books. Once I finish reading Check and Mate, my ebook of A Sky Beyond the Storm came off hold at the library, so definitely going to borrow that, and we'll be reading that in this video. Audiobook wise, I started listening to the first book in the Zodiac Academy series this morning. I don't really know why. It's not on my TBR. It just was really, it's been staring at me. A couple years ago, I listened to this podcast. Can't remember who, if I can find the podcast, I'll like put it on the screen. But it was, I think, these like 3 women talking about the Zodiac Academy books, and I listened to each one where they like go into a deep dive into everything that happens in each of the books. So I do know a lot of what happens in some of the books. A lot of the information has left me, but it was available through the library. It's the graphic audio. I'm already 30% of the way through, and I just started it this morning. So I guess we'll see if I continue. I just feel like they're gonna be silly. They already are kind of silly, but I know so many people love them, and I just kind of wanted to try them out. I'll be listening to that. I think that's it for the rest of like what I'm reading. Let's get into reading. I need to go make some lunch, and then I'm gonna sit here for like the rest of the afternoon and just read. That's the only plan I have for today. I'm off. I already worked out. Hair's washed. So that's the only thing I have planned, so. It is hours later and I have just finished reading Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I will say I remembered quite a bit of this book. The only thing that I kind of forgot a little bit was the ending. I remembered like the overall themes of the ending, but the one like specific outcome I kind of forgot. But I really enjoyed this the second time around. I feel like this is such an easy book to read. And like I said earlier, pretty modern, so not everybody might enjoy it if you don't like more modern references in your book. This is YA, but I definitely would consider this more new adult rather than young adult, just because some of the themes and the topics, YA to me is still pretty young in terms of like some of the writing and how things are talked about. This felt a little bit more mature in some of those things. I feel like the depiction of family and family relationships and siblings was really well done in this book. There was a point towards the end where I started to get teary-eyed. I don't even know why, but I was reading it and I was like, damn, okay. But I really enjoyed this. I think that all of Ali's books, the male main character is so down bad for the female main character, and she's either like oblivious or most of the time she's oblivious. And I feel like this was definitely the case in this book as well, but I still love it. I eat it up every single time and I always enjoy it in her books. I know that this book is not everybody's favorite. I was just looking at some of the Goodreads reviews and a lot of people don't like it. Personally, I loved it. I love any type of media that involves chess. I don't understand chess at all. I really don't. But still, I love any type of book, show, whatever it may be. I think it's very fascinating. Will I ever learn? Probably not. So I need to go make some stuff for dinner, so I'll probably listen to my audiobook while I do that, and then maybe read some of Remarkably Bright Creatures. If not, I'll probably start A Sky Beyond the Storm tomorrow because I don't like to rush into books too quickly after finishing them. Hi guys, and happy Thursday. I have a few reading updates, but nothing like too crazy. So yesterday I got to page 150 of Remarkably Bright Creatures, and I still need to read a little bit more of that to catch up to where my mom is at. The main plot line of that story is that it follows Tova, who is an elderly lady, and she is the cleaning lady at an aquarium, and while she's there, she has this kind of friendship forming with the giant octopus that is there. I feel like that's advertised as like the main plot, but there also is an additional point of view about this younger man. So you see from his point of view, and I think it's starting to finally weave the two together, because in the beginning I really didn't understand how he was going to tie into her story, but I think it is slowly going to start kind of weaving the two together. Throughout Tova's point of view, you see that her son went missing when he was around 18, so it was quite a while ago. And you find out that this octopus might have some kind of knowledge about what happened to her son. So that's kind of like the premise of that. Audiobook, I don't remember what percentage I got to of Zodiac Academy yesterday. It might have been around 40%, but I'm now 82% of the way through. So I only have around an hour and 50 minutes left. Zodiac Academy is basically a book about these two twin sisters that get transported into this new fae world to them, and they realize that they are actually the princesses or the heirs. As they're there, they're at this school. Everybody has their zodiac sign there, and then everybody has an element that they can, manipulate. And then they also have like an order, which is like a species of fae that they are. It's kind of just entertaining. As you can see, I'm getting through it like really quickly. So it's very entertaining. And then last night I got to 5% of the way through A Sky Beyond the Storm. And today I read a little bit. I didn't read that much so far today. I think I read another 8%. I'm now 13% of the way through. I want to sit down now and read for probably like another half an hour or so. I don't remember if I finished A Reaper at the Gates in either May or April. I really can't remember which it was. I think it was May. But honestly, I kind of forgot a little bit about what exactly happened at the end of A Reaper at the Gates, because this is the last book in An Ember in the Ashes series. There were certain names of people that were more introduced in that book, and I kind of was getting a few of them mixed up, but I think I'm back on track now. It's definitely still, I think, building a little bit. I feel like some stuff is being revealed, but I don't want to say too much because this is the last book in a series. but I feel like I've talked about this book or the series a lot on my channel, so I don't want to like yap about it too much about like what the previous books were. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm very, very nervous. I'm very, very scared because I don't want anything bad to happen to our main characters, but I feel like something definitely will. So I want to try to get maybe like 20% of the way through tonight. I don't know. I feel like that's really reaching. Hi everybody and happy Friday. It is kind of late. And by kind of late, I mean it's 8:30 and I have some reading updates on what I read today and how much progress I made. So yesterday I think I said I wanted to get around 20% of the way through A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabathir, and I did. I got 25% of the way through. Today I got to 41%. So I read around 16% of this and I have some thoughts so far, but let me also tell you that I finished the first book in the Zodiac Academy series, which is The Awakening. Let me start out with my opinion on A Sky Beyond the Storm. I feel like in this book, it definitely did take a little bit for me to get back into it. I think because I took a little bit of a break between reading A Reaper at the Gates, which is the third book, and this book, which is the last book. It kind of did not take me out of the story, but it just took me getting used to a little bit again, the dynamics of the world and what was going on. I think that for me, it felt a little bit, I wouldn't say it felt slow because a lot of stuff is still happening, but I do think that it did feel like it was still building up quite a bit until around like probably around that 25 to 30%. I probably would say more towards like that 30%. I definitely felt myself getting more invested in the story again and really wanting to pick it up more and more. I think that the timing of this book is a little bit confusing because you do follow 3 different points of views. For some parts of this, they're separated, and then for some parts they're together, but sometimes the one point of view, it mentioned like something about a week since I've seen this person. But then, so in my head, I'm like, okay, it's been a week. But then we go to the other point of view of the person that they're talking about, and it hasn't been a week. It's only been like not even a day. So I'm not sure if maybe like I just misread it or if the pacing is just a little bit odd. There's a lot of time jumps where it's like, the first day was this, the second day was this, and then like this day and this day. So I feel like maybe the pacing or like at least the time jumps are a little bit different, but overall story-wise, I'm very much enjoying, really interested and nervous to see. I'm making a lot of predictions. I feel like this is a fantasy series that has been out for a while, and for how long it's been out, I feel like I'm surprised that I don't know anything about how this book ends, and so I'm making a lot of predictions. I like reading on my Kindle because it's easy to notate stuff, and then I just like kind of like write my thoughts or make little predictions. So I would love to read maybe another 10% tonight and to get to 50% so I can maybe hopefully finish it tomorrow. That's a big claim, but I would really like to finish it in this video. And then as for the Zodiac Academy book, I rated it around 3 stars just because I did listen to the graphic audio. The graphic audio is basically, think like a movie in your mind. They're not necessarily reading every line. They're definitely reading the main character's thoughts. And then their cast of other characters is kind of, they're performing the other characters' lines, how they're said. So it's not necessarily like, you know, he said angrily. They're not saying that. They're just saying what the character said with anger. So it's definitely very entertaining, that aspect, because it does feel like a movie. But I will say that these are not like amazingly written books. They're more so, I think, just kind of like a good time. I know a lot of people don't love the first book because there's like a bullying aspect in it. I feel like don't go into them expecting amazing literature because it's really, in my opinion, not what you're gonna get. So let's read because I need to lock in. there's a main couple and then there's like a kind of side main-ish couple. And tell me why I like the side couple more. Like, I like them a lot more than the main couple, which I don't know if it's bad, but I like them a lot more. I'm like more invested in them. Hi guys, happy Saturday. So it is 11:40 and I have some ambitious plans for the rest of the day. And by ambitious plans, I mean I want to sit down and finish A Sky Beyond the Storm. I got my physical copy out of the box set and I am halfway through. I'm so honestly scared and nervous. I sat down last night and I did not go to bed until I got to 50%. And then when I got into bed, I read a little bit more, but then I started falling asleep and I think I only got like 1%. Yeah, so I got to 51% last night. So my Kindle says I have 4 hours and 32 minutes left. I think I definitely can finish it today if I just stay focused and really grind it out. But I don't really have any other thoughts from where I updated yesterday. I feel like it's definitely getting more and more action-packed. I have like one prediction for what could happen at the end, but everything else is genuinely, I have no idea. Genuinely have no clue how this is gonna end. I really hope that nobody that I love dies, but I'm not gonna rule it out, honestly. My goal is to finish this bad boy, and then I also would really, really like to get to page 170 or wherever my mom's at, 180 probably, of Remarkably Bright Creatures. I'm on page 150, I think. That's my goal. Let's lock in, let's read. So I'm officially 60% of the way through. I'm on page 309 and I feel like so far things are getting good. Things are getting juicy. And by good, I mean not good because they're struggling, but things are definitely happening. I feel like even throughout this whole entire series, there's a really big emphasis on understanding your enemies and understanding, why they're doing the things that they're doing and trying to figure out what from their past has led them to where they are now, especially with the villains in this book. And it's like one and the same of the villains, but there's like two distinct people that it's talking about. And I feel like, at least from book 2 on, there's a really big emphasis on understanding their backstory and why they're doing the things that they're doing. And it's talked about so much, but really, really little information has kind of come to light to our main characters about the villains and the enemy. It makes me, as a reader, really antsy to figure out what has happened because it's been talked about so much. And I feel like, we're in the last book and you still don't really know why exactly they're doing the things that they're doing. You know a little bit, but not the full picture. So I feel like, we're already 60% of the way through the last book and you still don't know the reasoning. So I feel like maybe around, my prediction is like 75 to 80% is when they'll reveal that full picture about why you'll get the whole kind of view. Because I feel like so far, at least for one of the villains, you see them be so cruel, like so cruel, and you really don't know why. I want to know why this person who is so evil, if there is a reasoning, which it's, being alluded to, what the reasoning is and why. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that that just happened. I'm, I think 65% of the way in. On page 336. Oh my gosh, I think I'm like speechless right now. Okay guys, I am 81% of the way through, and I have just like one little complaint. It kind of ties back into the whole you need to understand your enemy kind of tangent I went on earlier. But I feel like there has been 2 points now where our characters have gotten that explanation, and it's either been one, they got the explanation but we as readers don't know what was said. It just like faded to black and then like picks back up after they learn that information. And I'm a little bit frustrated because I understand that it's probably going to be revealed at a certain point, and when it's supposed to be revealed, it will be revealed. But there's so much buildup, and I'm like 80% of the way through. I'm like, come on, why aren't we knowing? Why aren't we knowing? So I just wish that, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like frustrated because I want to know what the explanation is and what this, you know, whole reasoning is for them being so cruel. I just wish that I had the explanation as it was taking place. So, I don't know. I'm like irked. I just really want to know. I'm on page 443, which is 85% of the way through. Things are not going good. Things are not going good for my friends here. I'll record my reaction because things are getting juicy. I'm actually so mad right now. I'm so mad. Okay, I'm actually really upset. Even though I'm laughing, I'm upset. I knew that this was gonna happen. I knew, oh my God. Okay. Okay. I'm so irritated right now. I just feel like throughout reading this whole entire series, you see these characters who are fairly young, between 17 to 20, and all of them are just entering this world in which they have learned about but are very untried in, and they're up against these players that are far more older, far more experienced, and are constantly outmaneuvering them. No matter how hard our characters try to outsmart the villain, they simply cannot. And I think that's one of the things that I have struggled with throughout reading these books, is the frustration at how these characters are trying to make these moves and trying to make these plays, but constantly are playing into the villain's hand. And I get that that's probably the whole point, but still, sometimes it is so frustrating to read about because you see how they're like, we need to think like them. And then as they're thinking like them, they're still making these wrong choices. So, guys, come on, do better. Do better. I just got to 92% and there was just a pretty big reveal and something pretty big just happened, and I was not expecting it at all. And at first I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but I think that the themes of this book are so well done and so prevalent that it makes sense for the things that have occurred and the way in which they have occurred to have happened that way. Well, I've officially finished reading A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabatier. I did just finish it now. I'm like a little I don't know, I really, really, really loved this. I feel like I can't believe I finished it all today. I started reading this at 11:40 and it's 6:30. I did take quite a few breaks. I like stopped pretty much every 10% and I would kind of scroll for a while. I did some laundry, so you know, I did take a while, but I feel like this series was so amazing, and I highly, highly recommend, if you have not read this book, or well, if you haven't read the series, I definitely recommend to pick it up. The things that it covers and the overall themes and the emotion behind the story feels so meaningful. I really, really did love the ending. I was on the verge of tears at multiple points throughout the end of this, and I just feel like this really surprised me. I do think I want to give this like a 4.5 to a 5 purely because of how much I appreciated and just everything that this book did. I don't know, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel going into it. I feel like I've seen a couple other people say like this wasn't their favorite of the series, but I genuinely really loved it. I would definitely say that A Torch Against the Night is my number one of the series, which is the second book, and then probably this one, and then An Ember in the Ashes, and then A Reaper at the Gates. But again, all of these are above 4 stars for me. I really, really did love this. I don't know, these characters, I have grown to love them, and I don't know if it's just because I just finished it, and like, normally when I just finish a book, I'm still kind of really into it, or like my feelings are stronger than, you know, a little bit after I finish it, but I feel like I really, really loved this. I really recommend this series. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I had so much fun reading this book, reading Check and Mate. Both of these books were probably 5 stars for me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you've read either of these books, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!